Welcome to today's video. I'm the Hooded Lid, and as promised, I am taking a look at Kosas. This is their concealer. It's been getting some raves, so I thought I'd take a look. The reason I did not buy this when it first came out was everybody said it ran very, very yellow. And indeed, it does. So my makeup is already on. I'm actually testing a foundation. I thought we'd do a little bit of swatching before we get into it. So this is Kosas number 4. And it looks quite light here, but it is decidedly yellow right there. Now it doesn't look yellow right now. It will when I start comparing it to some other things. Giorgio Armani Power Fabric number 5, and this I was wearing a lot, and then suddenly in the fall it started to look yellow on me, so I stopped wearing it. It sure doesn't look yellow compared to this. This actually looks peach. Laura Mercier 1N, and this is very light, I'm not gonna lie, but it seems to oxidize, and I just use it right there. That's the Laura Mercier. Bendy Avocado number 4. This is also pretty peach, quite a bit darker. Bendy Avocado, the Kosas. So out of all of these, this is, you know, kind of peach, very neutral, and the Kosas. Let's get into it. On my skin right now, I am wearing a sunscreen that is orange and a foundation that is gray. And I think I managed to get a beautiful balance of putting them together so I don't look orange or gray. I'm kind of pleased. And I did get some under my eyes. I'm not gonna lie. I'm taking the Pat McGrath brush. And this foundation does have a slightly tacky feel to it. Not quite as tacky as the Laura Mercier, but not dissimilar, so it's not liquidy. Now I'm going to test this for 2 days because I'm very, very dehydrated from eating a lot of salt, and my under eyes are probably looking pretty horrifying anyway. So this will be day 1. And I'm just going to go in with the Beauty Blender to finish that blend because it is so thick that I don't feel the brush really gives it a good finish. And it's brightening the area. It doesn't look terribly, terribly yellow, but it does look a little off, and I can't really put my finger on exactly why. I definitely want to powder this one. The creamier ones, you must powder. Use the same powder, the same brush, and I'm just doing this side as I usually do in the tests. Looks nice powdered. Such a big difference. I don't know why, but the look of it is much better, where there's too much shine, too much reflection in this one, even though the finish of my foundation is skin-like. It's not matte. For some reason, the shine under the eyes doesn't really do it for me. But with the powder, you can begin to see the yellowness a little bit more. Whereas with the shine, it reflects. The light reflects off and you don't really notice the color as much. Here, there's no reflection off that shine, so you really do notice the color. I'm not in love with the color, I'm not gonna lie. Be back in an hour and see how this is doing. All right, you guys, I am back. It is an hour later, which is usually enough time for me to tell if something's going to work or not. I want to read you a little bit about the claims before I take a look in the mirror. So, it's a medium coverage concealer, eye cream, and spot treatment in one that reveals better looking skin upon application and over time. Medium coverage, radiant, cream formulation for normal dry combo and oily skin. It has arnica, which is a botanical that supports skin's natural healing process. I always thought arnica was something that you would apply topically for bruising, but about the same thing. Caffeine visibly brightens under the eyes. I don't know what to do that. I always thought it was good for reducing puffiness. And peptides support natural collagen. We don't actually know that, but that's another story. But okay, It's vegan, cruelty-free, and gluten-free. What else you need to know? The Revealer formula took over a year to develop from scratch. It features a unique clean base that has a luminous, dewy finish that's never tacky. It's totally tacky. Stop. It truly is makeup for skincare freaks. They should have said geeks. Available in a variety of shades and packed with potent botanicals, this super creamy and brightening formula covers and visibly diminishes dark circles and blemishes while still looking like your natural skin. All right, kitty cats, let me put down my computer and we shall talk. Let's take a look. Wow. Huh. This one that I powdered looks remarkably good. This one that I didn't powder, it's crepey and it troughed. This one did not trough. Now, I need to give this another day because that was a weird noise. I did have some of my sunscreen. I was testing the Elta and I got a little bit of foundation just because I was trying to blend everything together. So there was already something underneath this, but not so bad. It's not so bad. This side, not so good. I'm going to pull you in a little bit. So I'm using my new camera and I have a new zoom lens, and today is really not a good zoom day. The fact that I have been eating a lot of pistachios the last couple of days, and I think I've ate my body weight in salt, which makes my skin dehydrated. So I do see some dehydration right over here. And this eye is looking pretty nice, right? This eye totally troughed, and I just don't like that shiny look. So we're just going to untrough it. There. But into the crease right here. So this little puppy definitely needs some powder. Now this, I use the regular Tarte that I have been using. I have this sample, and I use just a little bit. That's all you need. It doesn't even look incredibly yellow. But for shits and gigs, I recently got this by Terry Rosy Light. It has a little bit of pinkness to it, which should counteract the yellow. So let me just smooth this out one more time. I mean, this is tacky and creamy. And do this powder. I'm not using a lot, but I was thinking maybe that pinkness could help a little bit. Okay, it got really bad looking really fast. So I don't think it was the By Terry powder, honestly. I think that this would have been better if I powdered it when I first put this on, and also, as I said, I'm really seeing dehydration on this side of my face because of an enormous amount of pistachios that I've been eating. So we'll do another day and we will use this powder on both eyes and see if it helps with the yellow. Be back. I am here for another try of the Kosas under the eyes. I've already done a foundation and sunscreen, and let's give it a go. There's absolutely no foundation under my eyes this time. And I'm going to use, I prefer this actually to the Pat McGrath, just because it's smaller. And it does look quite yellow. And it has a thicky tackiness to it, which I've mentioned before. So you can't really blend it with that brush. You can just kind of smooth it in where you want it to go. And then you have to do some blending. So I'm going to do finger blending here. Blends okay. And I'm going to do Beauty Blender blending on the other. This is dry, but it has moisture left in it from yesterday because it's been very humid here. just want to even them up because I feel like I just took some off on this side. And I want to go in with the By Terry powder in Rosy Light because I'm thinking that rosy color might help to abate the yellowness. Now, it looked yellow when it went on, but when you blend it in, it doesn't look as yellow. And I'm going to do the powder just under this one, as usual. Get the trough. And I am seeing a little bit of dryness right away, well, dehydration right away, but that could be me. I don't think this makes such a change that you can see the difference between this eye and that eye in color tone. But it's interesting how it goes on quite yellow, and as you blend it in, the yellowness disappears. I'm guessing that as I'm blending it in, I'm taking some off, and that's why it doesn't look as yellow. I'll be back in an hour and we'll see what it looks like. It's about an hour later, and let's take a look at what's going on. The powdered side looks great. The unpowdered side doesn't look great. I'm going to pull you in. Alright, so this is the powdered side, and this, we got some troughing right here, and some vertical lines a little bit. Let's just smooth that out. I still think this side looks better, even smoothed out, and that's going to wrap up day 2, and we'll go back to the rest of the video. Just kidding. Okay, when I shot day 2, which was several days, might even have been a week after day 1, I thought I had an outro on day 1. I don't know what I was thinking, so I'm not cutting back to day 1 because obviously I didn't do an outro. So here's the outro. 3 things, 3 C's: color, clean, coverage. This is clean. If that is something that's very important to you, it's something you should consider seriously. I don't know if there's a lot of clean concealers out there because clean isn't a driving force for me. I think Ilia does. I think they're clean, and I think Kaiser Weiss might have one. I don't know. But clean, that box is checked. Coverage. The coverage is good if you don't blend it in a lot. So the more I blended it in, the better it looked on the skin because it does have a creamy consistency. And when I say creamy, I mean there's a little tack to it. Then if I went in with my finger, if I went in with a brush, when I went in with a beauty blender, each time there was a little less product on the skin. It looked a little bit better on the skin, but the coverage was a little bit less. But first application, I hope you could see, hey, there's coverage here. And then it just started to go away. So worth noting, there's probably a way to finagle this. If you want something clean and you want good coverage, you might be able to make it work. I find for me, for my under eyes, crepey as all get out, I need to blend this in well because it doesn't sit well on crepey skin. If you have very smooth skin, you may just do a brush and you'll be fine. Or maybe just lightly with a beauty blender and you'll be fine. I'm just saying that the more you blend it in, the less coverage you have. Color, that's the biggest problem. When you're going for full coverage, it's very, very yellow. When you blend it in, it doesn't look quite as yellow, although it still looks off and it's very inconsistent. Some days it looked more yellow than other days, and that's probably because I was using different foundations. But the yellow is something I just can't escape. I'm not yellow. If you are yellow, you're going to love this. If you are olive, I'm not sure, you might love it. If you are neutral, I think it's going to be hard. If you are rose-toned or pink-toned, I think it's going to be hard, really hard. Consistency of 4 C's. Consistency. They call this creamy and it melts into the skin. It is creamy with tack. It's creamy with tack like the Laura Mercier, a little less tack than that one, but tacked. And again, because of that consistency, I really need to do a lot of blending so it looks good. It looks okay with my crepeys. Once I powdered this, it looked so good on the powdered eye. It really did. And once it didn't trough at all. The other times I used it, it did trough. So it has some very, very good qualities about it, characteristics about it. It's just I can't get over the color. So if Kosas is watching, I'm sure they're not, but if they are, not everybody's yellow. You know, how about some neutral? Thank you. And thank you so much for spending some time with me. I hope it was helpful to you, and I hope you come back again. Until we meet again, be safe and smart, and I'm wishing you good health. Bye.